I like it. I've been doing this so long now that people can anticipate when I'm ready to go just by how tone of voice changes. I appreciate that. All right, at this time, we're going to call this regular meeting of the Hill County Commissioners to order this Tuesday, September 24th, 2024. Let the record reflect this meeting was posted in accordance with Texas Government Code 551, better known as Texas Open Meetings Act, and a quorum of commissioners is present established. This meeting is being held both in person and you can participate online. Ms. Paula, has anybody signed up by 8 a.m. this morning to participate online? No, that doesn't preclude you from participating in person, just can't do it online at this point, unless we call on you. So at this time, before any undertaking, let us first invoke the blessing of the Almighty. And Pastor, could you lead us in a word of invocation?
Let us pray. Mighty and merciful God, we pray for your blessing and your guiding hand upon Judge Lewis, our county commissioners, and all who gathered here this morning. Provide them with your wisdom as they discuss and make decisions that would affect, and we pray benefit Hill County and the people who live and work here. Give courage, compassion, and protection to our sheriff and our sheriff deputies, as well as our local police officers, firefighters, paramedics, and all first responders, and to the men and women who serve in our U.S. military. Help our president, our governor, and all public servants at all levels of government, that they would lead according to your will. May we all know the freedom and the responsibilities that you have given to us in Christ our Savior and Lord. In his name we pray. Amen.
Amen. If you're the one praying for rain, keep it up. You're doing all good.
You follow the flag, the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
All right, thank you all for being here this morning. Pastor, have a wonderful week. Thank you so much. Commissioner Holcomb, what's going on in Hill County Precinct 1 this morning?
Well, we're working on trucks, working on a little sound barrier between the back shop and the judges' quarters over there.
Wonderful.
The Huron building. And
How bad's the roof leaking?
say it again.
How bad's the roof leaking?
Just a couple spots.
Okay, look at that.
We haven't had to bring out the buckets yet, but
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And really waiting for it to dry out. We had a kind of a blessing, I guess you'd call it. We had a piece of equipment that's been down for several years. And the diagnosis was a blown head gasket on the tractor.
Okay.
And we got it in the shop and fixed all of the leaks. There was no blown head gasket. And the motor on the back of it works just fine.
Good.
So we'll have, instead of having to spend $220,000 for a new shredder, I'll have that to kind of come along and do mow the ground and kind of behind pushing the walls of the vegetation. But that was a blessing.
That's a heck of a blessing. Commissioner, what's happening in Precinct 2, Mr. Crumpler?
We're still trying to get roads finished, dead end roads we've been working on that, had an opportunity while the Proctor out of the field, but, got to delay that one now for a couple of days, but that's okay. They can still get in and out, I hope.
Imagine they'll make it out. Imagine they'll make
And
it
we
out.
finally finished up, shredding for a while, so.
It'll grow, Grant. It'll grow.
We'll get now.
Yeah. Commissioner Dawkins, what's happening in Precinct 3 today?
Well, speaking of shredding, I've got 2 tractors broke down, so
Uh-oh.
one of ours is running back there to get through.
You sound like my operation.
On a good note, we started, let's see, last Wednesday, we started another project in 171.
Okay.
We're about halfway covered. Had to stop them and repay what they've already built up.
They actually repaved it? Oh, sorry. Trashing me. I apologize.
One lane, they've got one lane paved, so shoulders and the other 2 not yet. Anyway, got that going on, of course, yesterday, today, rain, but the rain, I stopped piling rock, anticipating the mud holes that are going, so.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Got it.
Oh, good deal. Commissioner Lake, what's happening in Precinct 4 today?
Well, we're just trying to get stuff, oil changed and different things like that need to be done.
A lot of maintenance.
It's good, and it's cool enough, it's not so blooming hot.
It has been nice weather the last couple of days. Anything going on with the constables, Constable Cox?
Just influx of papers here the last 2 weeks.
Tax papers, evictions?
It's a little bit of everything, and then this week, summons.
Oh, okay. Now court's coming up. I didn't think about that. Good deal. What's happening in IT, Philip?
Hey, Jay, if I could add just.
You got it. You got it. Take
Just
what you
wanted to give the court an update. So last week, Melissa and Wendy, the ladies have been sent to an IT conference, and it was in Las Vegas. And the reason being, this conference is so big, there are really only two places in the continental United States that can hold a conference this big. One's in Las Vegas and one is in Orlando. But we also had our CJIS audit last week. They have expanded their requirements for what they're looking for in the CJIS audit, particularly as it comes to reporting in the event that there is a security incident. They want a lot of new information, extended information. Well, it just so happens that the very folks that were putting on this conference out in Las Vegas that we sent the ladies to, they have a tool. We already use that program. It's called CrowdStrike. We've already bought and paid for it, but they have a tool in their program that can do the enhanced reporting that the CJIS auditors are looking for. So I just wanted to kind of give everyone an update that, we sent the ladies to this audit. I know it was in Las Vegas, but they were actually learning about the very tool that we're going to need to become CJIS compliant according to these new standards of what they're looking for. So I just wanted to let everybody know that it was a worthwhile effort to send them, and I appreciate it very much for allowing me to send the ladies out there.
I'm glad they're willing to go. It's serendipitous that, at the same time we've got them at this training, they can only get one place in the world once a year. How many different countries had people at this thing? I think Melissa told me like 60.
I believe so. Yes, Judge. Yeah, there were 6,000 some odd people, and it was maxed out.
Wow.
Yes.
No, great conference. Good deal. All right. Good deal. Thanks for that. I appreciate it. Sure. Chris, what's happening in emergency management, and radio administration this morning?
Trucking along, we're got maintenance done for the month on all of our stuff, everything's working good. Still prepping for the new jail system, the Penelope Tower, haven't heard any final news from the con on them yet, but any day now, they comes. Yesterday, it was probably the worst day so far for crashes, so.
Yeah, I think
Longest amount of crashes.
I heard Abbott had 10 alone. Just Abbott had 10 that they worked yesterday. You can't say enough good stuff about the Abbott Volunteer Fire Department. No, 17 fire departments in this county, and they're all great people. But the state of Texas needs to recognize the service that Abbott Volunteer Fire Department provides to them, keeping that stinking road open 35 south of town. If it wasn't for Doreen Strickland and her crews, I don't know what they'd do. So God bless those people. But good deal. Other thing he's working on, he probably won't be so shy to tell you, Citizens Emergency Response Team, a CERT team. We haven't had one in several years, and we have a guy that's very interested in helping us get one together. So we're previewing some operating procedures, things we'll bring to this floor a little bit later and talk about that. So appreciate that. What's going on with ESD number 1, Ken?
We got it right.
No burn ban today. Got it.
No burn bans today.
Good deal.
Like I said earlier, I got 3 inches on my side of the floor. And when I got in the Waco yesterday morning, it was, look, they hadn't got any rain. The lady got 3/10 of an inch yesterday.
Interesting.
We were fortunate with what we got and everything else. I am perfectly happy, and I thank God every day for this rain.
I'm pleasant. Good deal. Mr. Lemon, what you got the ESD number 2 this morning?
Well, 10 out of 10, so I'm here in his part.
Okay.
Wanted to let y'all know that we have purchased 4 ambulances so far, Hill County now,
Wow.
that'll be at least fast care fly.
Okay.
But that way, if something was ever happen, we do have an ambulance. We have a 5th one that is in production right now, we have it in the next couple of months.
So we'll have 5 station ambulance owned by ESD2 in the county.
And these are all needed state of the art.
Wonderful.
And also let y'all know that October 19th, we're having an open house at the office. 2 things, open house for the new building and for Barbara Lee, there's a plaque that will dedicate.
I will make that.
All the work she did.
Yeah. A lot of years of good service, and that's great to memory. It's something in her memory. So thank you for that. Appreciate it, Ms. Lemon. All right. Well, from this chair, and I saw the AgriLife people, and we have center folks. We got you on the agenda actually, so we'll do that formally. What we've got here: policy. We're working with the county surveyor, who's a stamped engineer, updating subdivision rules. He's got them. Trying to cut out some of the superfluous material. I'm not a stamped engineer, so I shouldn't be in the business of telling people how to do engineering things. So he's working on that. We're working on a tiny home policy at this point. We've got a couple of feelers out for folks that want to put in tiny home communities, which if done right, not a problem. But if you're putting literally 800 homes in one spot on a gravel county road, that's going to be a problem for all of us. So we've got to figure out what realm that we have to make sure that doesn't turn into a disaster. And our culvert setting policy, Jim's read it and gave me his input, Mark's given me his input. I think our next commissioners court will have a workshop and possibly an action on the culvert setting policy. We're about 75% of the way where we need to be right now. We need to make the actual permit form and application form. So outside of that, it's been pretty busy with just policy. I'm going to be out of county next week at a judicial conference. We have a group of judges from the country of Mongolia coming in. They'll be hosted here this Friday about 12:30 for about an hour and a half. And then we're going to take them out to Alpine because apparently the State Bar of Texas thinks if someone comes to your state and never been here before, the first place you should take them is Alpine, Texas. I don't know. Got something against trees. I ain't figured it out yet.
Hadn't they done that before?
What's that?
Mongolian?
Yeah, I do it every so often. I believe you spread democracy throughout the world. It's the best system there is. And I got involved with the Asian Judicial Institute 15 years ago. And so I host the Mongolians here from time to time. Their court system is getting better, but they were the second people to declare communism, but the first people to go after 70 years, this is no good. And the same people running the show just converted it to democracy. So we've been in operation with them for a number of years. You get an opportunity to promote democracy, you promote it because it is the best system out there. It's not perfect, but it's the best, better than anything else we got going. So anyway, that being said and done, I'll be out of pocket next week. I'll have my email, my phone, and my laptop. But I will be at a judicial conference with those folks. So that is what's going on in this office. Anything else you got questions about, let us know. Mr. Holmes is joining us by video phone this morning. He's feeling a little under the weather. I'm not saying that he has this, but I will let everybody know. Hey, remember, COVID's still a thing. It's still out there and it's going around the county at the moment. So we got quite a few people coming in and out. Take care of yourself. Pay attention to your health. And if you're sick, don't come to work. We don't want it. So all right, at this time, I'm going to move along to open forum. If there's anybody here that's not on the agenda, again, AgriLife's on the agenda, Advocacy Center's on the agenda, that has something they want to share with the court, this is your opportunity to do so. I think we hit almost everybody in the room other than Rachel at this point. So we got nothing. We're going to move right along then in our consent agenda. Consent agenda this morning is action on minutes, action on invoices, action on payroll, action on monthly report, revenue disbursement, and ZERB report elected official trainings. You will find in your packet the minutes from the county clerk's office, and then emails were sent out from the treasurer's office for the rest of the documentation that I just said. Make a motion.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there any additions, deletions, corrections, subtractions, or otherwise schneid comments? Hearing none, I call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. Motion carries unanimously. I'm going to start passing these orders around so we keep on top of the paperwork and we don't have threats from the county clerk at a later date. Not that she would ever threaten me. Anyway, moving on, we have our employee wage status change for this date. I like the tabs. I do. How many sets of minutes? Yeah, that's right. Get your spare pen out. You're going to need to finish this. There you go. All right. So employee wage status changes for this date, 24th day of September, 2024. We have wage and status changes of a Roberto Villarreal at the sheriff's office. And he's going to do a change of job duties. We have Jeff Ward at the sheriff's office, moved from deputy 1, deputy 3. I can't say enough good about Jeff Ward. All the people that work for us are wonderful, but Jeff gets out there and he runs the Keep Hill County Clean program with the sheriff's office, our environmental officer. Jeff's just a great guy, and hope he's feeling better soon too. Clement Wolub, he meets qualifications for the job description, so he's road and bridge operator 3 over precinct 2, and I'm glad to hear that. We have some new people working with the county this week. We have Una King in the district judge's office. That's going to be the court reporter, so welcome aboard. And we have the order goes along with that from the judge, so we appreciate Judge forwarding that. Joanna Gilbert with the district clerk's office is records management. She's going to do the file scanning and that kind of stuff down there. So welcome aboard, Ms. Gilbert. Christopher Clark with emergency management. He's a gentleman I talked about a minute ago. Many years we had Mr. Ed Jaworski work for us. Mr. Jaworski is a part-time, did radio things, helped Chris. He's retired. So brought Mr. Clark, who's another retired gentleman on board. So if the radio administrator gets hit by the proverbial busload of nuns, that we got somebody who knows how to operate the radios. So don't expect Chris to go anywhere, but that's all there is to it. Hey, good morning, Chief. We have terminations. Jay Uvino has resigned from the sheriff's office. Dalton Carter has again moved on from the sheriff's office. Edward Jaworski has retired. He was the part-time emergency management guy, and we wish Ed all the best in his retirement. Kate Haygood, forgive me, at District Clerk. These were some part-time help they hired over the summer to help with some of the records projects. And Dayton Tanner, all right, good deal. And those are the employees and wage changes for this date.
Make a motion.
Motion is second to approve the aforementioned employee wage and status changes. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, any abstentions? Motion will carry unanimously. I'll pass that around. Moving on to discuss and approve bonds. We have bonds this morning from the Hill County Clerk's blanket bond, which is required and necessary. Reagan McCurley over at CSCD for administrative assistant bond. Karina Bond, CSCD has a bond. Kim Trateri at the Sheriff's Office notary bond, and Michaela Shimate at Sheriff's Office notary bond as well. Those are the aforementioned bonds.
Make a motion. Second.
We got a motion in a couple of seconds, or a couple of motions in 1 second, one of the two. And either way, it's going to suffice for our means, and we will call the question. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions? Motion shall carry.
We've done that yet.
Yes, that's going to be later. Yeah, I should have handed that to you. My apologies. At this time, we have a presentation from the annual AgriLife Commissioners Court of Interpretation. So I want to introduce Mr. Jay. Mr. Kingston is the new administrator for District 8.
Yeah.
Is that okay? I don't want to mess the title up there.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. You recall for many years, we had Mr. Donald Kelm in this. He's moved up in the organization, and Jay now runs that show. So glad to have you with us this morning. Thank you for coming in.
But it's definitely good to be here this morning, and as I drove through the rain, it was good to do that as well, and hope you guys get what you need.
Hope so.
So I've been in this position for just almost a year now, and so making my rounds to all the counties in my district, District 8, which is 21 counties, kind of surrounds Waco, and I'm out of Stephenville, and so it's been an interesting job nonetheless.
I can imagine.
But I wanted to share some of the great things your county agents are doing here in Hill County. The front page of this newsletter is focusing on some nutrition and health programming that we've done district wide. And so this information is basically from those 21 counties. But if we turn over to the back, we'll focus more on your Hill County agents and the work they've been doing. I don't know if you know this, but I think those three back there are, as a team, are pretty close to the best in the state of Texas.
We think so too.
You guys are lucky to have them.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see from not only the volume of programming that they do, but that quality of that programming is impressive. And so, we're all about education. And so educating people. So trying to hit all the audiences here in Hill County, and your agents are doing a great job with that. If we look at we break it down in our program areas and ag and natural resources with Zach's programming, you can see the different program areas. Row crop production, of course, is big here in Hill County, and Zach's doing a great job addressing those needs. Now, and if you will look at that program scope and that economic impact, I think those are the things that really show as we look through this, really the impact the programming AgriLife Extension has in Hill County. In row crop alone, 152,000 acres being represented at those programs, and showing a estimated economic impact of $2.4 million to those farmers. And so, we're, as again, education and how to better those practices and how to help those farmers in their production. In the livestock and forage, you can see the numerous programs offered there. Also, that program scope reaching over 300 participants. We evaluate, and so we ask those participants, how did we do? And so that's where we're getting that data and the impact. And you can see there the 47,600 acres of pasture land, over 17,000 head of livestock that attended those programs, and you can see that economic impact as well as just over $500,000 there. And along with that, we ask them, of all the things we teach, are you going to implement these things? And so those adoption of practices, we gather that data too as well. And so you can see the impact there. Feral hogs, you know, they're not going away. We're gonna have to learn how to manage them. So Zach's doing a great job with providing programming there and support to that Bucks for Bacon hog bounty. And you can see they've reported over 1,000 hogs removed this past fiscal year.
I know you guys don't track this number, but the number that's impressive to us, and set aside agricultural damage, which is huge. But the number of crashes related to hog vehicle crashes has gone through the floor in the last couple of years.
Right.
Used to, if you're traveling down 171 and leave out of here, head towards Hubbard, you were going to have one a week. Somebody's going to hit a hog out in that area. And since they've instituted this program and Zach's managed it, the savings along on collisions with vehicles has been incredible. So
That's good data.
I think we don't collect that, obviously. It's one of the things we don't hear about. We hear about, hey, what we've done to mitigate damage to crops, mitigate damage to forage, but mitigating the damage to the citizens at large as well has been a very
There's
successful.
minus one hog on 1534.
We'll find that guy,
They turned it
shake
in.
his hand and tell him thank you.
That's a good point. If we look at, so the bottom right, we're gonna skip down a little bit to the integrated pest management with Tyler and his programming. I think Tyler is considered kind of one of the more knowledgeable bug guys around.
We fought to keep Tyler, and that's you want to mutiny from us, you try to move him.
Okay.
Yeah,
We're keeping him. for
yeah,
sure.
good.
But anyway, you can see he's really involved in that scouting and row crop insect programming and research, and so he's doing a great job there. You can see over 614,000 acres on 615,000 acres impacted with his programming and his scouting and his work there. And that economic impact there at the bottom of $5 million, that's a big number. So.
And my personal opinion, I think it's low. Just because the area he covers, this Blackman's, this central Texas area, being the only integrated pest management agent, that's my understanding still to this day. You know, the new things that we see here, having somebody that's knowledgeable that can help the local farmers. I think big when sugarcane aphid came in a few years ago in Milo, trying to understand that position has been instrumental, and we greatly appreciate it.
And then we'll end with not necessarily the least, but maybe even the best. And Angie and her programming with the kids in 4-H, and also not only with the 4-H kids, but in schools as well. And so Hill County has a solid membership of 190 4-H members here in the county, involved in a lot of different projects. And so in those projects, I'm sure you know, are developing those life skills and teaching those kids those things they need to do to be productive in their adult life. And so that's the great thing about 4-H is developing those kids. You can see she's doing quite a bit of work within the schools, and really kind of I lump it all into ag literacy. And so if you do much talking with young kids that have not been in rural Texas, they don't know a whole lot about agriculture. And so I think that's an important work that we're doing, and Andy's doing a great job with that. She's hitting a lot of numbers, a lot of kids, a lot of contacts with that. 1,100 kids just for the hatching in the classroom. Is a great number. And of course, water education, you know, water is always going to be an issue, and as Texas grows, as it is growing, we're going to need that those kids to know as they become adults how to deal with that. I'll end with kind of the leadership part of it. So not only teaching those life skills, but the leadership portion of that life skill. And I think Angie does a great job, especially with her youth ag corps. She partners with Johnson County and gets a group of kids, and they go about looking at the ag industry and careers and opportunities, entrepreneurship, and that type of thing I think is a great thing. But as you can see, they didn't have enough room on the page to put everything that we kind of cherry picked and did some great things. But I'm very proud of the work they're doing, and hope you see that and realize that. We definitely appreciate your support for them, And I'll leave you with this, November the 6th, we're putting on the Judges and Commissioners Conference in Stephenville. If you need some continuing education hours, we'll have, I think I'm offering 7.5 hours for that event. I'll get some invitations out and be glad to have you all there. But I'll be glad to answer any questions you have.
Questions for Mr. Kingston? What?
Shooting sports, that seems to be big, I know,
It's huge. Yeah. A lot of kids involved in that.
and some people got, what,
What's-
free ride.
What's that?
Randy's, granddaughter got a free ride.
Oh, yeah, for college scholarships. Yeah, no doubt. It's been an incredible program through 4-H. We've had one competition, 2 in the Junior Olympics, 2. Okay, I didn't overspeak, but yeah. I mean, that's amazing to me. From Hill County, Texas, we've had 2 different individuals that participate in the Junior Olympics,
Yeah.
just in the shooting sports. I know that last night my wife came home with my daughter, my 2 youngest daughters, said they had approximately 50 people at the Aquila 4-H meeting last night. So, you know, our ability to reach out to these children in rural areas is paramount. It's not the people we grew up with. There's a lot of new people moving out there that want the dream that we had, you know, the house and 10 acres or whatever. And just because they live out there doesn't mean we shouldn't be able to put resources to them. So this has been very, 4-H is, you know, one of the best educational programs there is out there to help you develop as a person, leadership skills, get a supplement to what you're learning at home at school. I participated in years ago, and my kids participate in it, and I think it's been very beneficial to the county as a whole. So appreciate that, guys.
Thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Mr. Kingston. Appreciate it. Great seeing you today. All right, next on our agenda, we have a presentation by Dr. Carrie Berkeley of the Advocacy Center. The Advocacy Center is, both of you come on up. I know I just put Dr. Carrie's name on the agenda, but you're both welcome. The Advocacy Center provides a yeoman service for us from the standpoint of child victims of crime. Many years ago, when I first got involved with them, a long time ago, we didn't have a place locally. If we had a child victim, sometimes we would have to send those people to Waco to get the necessary services. And the unfortunate part about that is a lot of the times those victims are on the lower end of the socioeconomic ladder without the resources to get to Waco. So we horse traded, gave them terrible rent space in an old building, and they came up here and have stuck with us throughout the years. Obviously, when we redid Covington Street, we built a new center for them. And at this time, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Judge Lewis. You have to excuse me, I was in Iowa this weekend, and right now in Iowa is the worst time for my allergies, so I brought some allergies back with me, but so yeah, Dr. Berkeley and I are here this morning. My name is Allie Asher, I'm the executive director. And we wanted to come and do kind of 2 things. One, to thank Hill County for this beautiful, beautiful space. We can't say enough good things about this space over on Covington Street. And we are actually tomorrow having an open house for the community, for y'all to come see kind of our space and learn a little bit about what we do. It's going to be from 3 to 6 at the annex building over there. And we'll have some light refreshments, and we'll have our staff there to talk a little bit about what we do, and you'll have the opportunity to see that space. Not many people get to see the space unless you or someone you know are receiving those services. And so it can be kind of a mystery what we do, because a lot of times people don't find out about what we do until they need our services. So really broadly, we offer services and support to anyone who's been a victim of a violent crime or child abuse and their families. So we work really closely with who we call our multidisciplinary team, which includes local law enforcement, district attorney, county attorneys, everyone here at the courthouse, DFPS and CPS, to work to provide services for children and families who've experienced some type of abuse. Dr. Berkeley is going to talk a little bit about the importance of the Hill County office and what that means for the residents of Hill County. But anyone of any age can receive our services. We offer specific services to victims of child abuse and their families. We like to say that we offer wraparound services. So we try to address violence at every level. So we respond in crisis. We perform emergency forensic interviews. We have sexual assault forensic exam nurses and sexual assault advocates who accompany victims to Waco hospitals. Those services are available to Hill County residents as well. And then we walk with people through the kind of the aftermath of that violent act. We provide case management, which can look like resources and referrals. We also offer counseling services for children as young as 3 all the way to 99. One thing that people often don't know is that whatever violent act happened didn't have to happen yesterday or last week or last month. We have a large number of adults who were maybe abused as children and never received any type of services. You know, times have changed with how we talk about and how we report those things. And so they are now receiving our counseling services at 60, 70, 50 years old, and working through those things that happened to them when they were a child. And then we also have prevention and education services. So we go into area schools, other organizations. You'll see us at the Autumn Fest coming up this weekend. Yeah, this weekend. And so to try and prevent those acts of violence and those crimes from happening in the first place. So we like to believe that we're addressing it at every level, but I will let Dr. Berkeley talk a little bit specifically about the importance and why we are so grateful for this beautiful office space in Hill County. So,
Thank you, Danielle. Thank you, Judge, and thank you all for allowing us to be here. So for the better part of 15 years, we have partnered with Hill County in collaboration with what the Texas Family Code recognizes as children's advocacy and a model in community. So we're really proud of the strong partnerships that we have with Hill County and all of the constituents that work to make sure Hill County clients and families are safe. So what we can do in this space that has been offered to us, and it is grand, and when you see it tomorrow, it's going to be spectacular. But we have an opportunity to bring these services to families who are impacted by crime. As Ali mentioned earlier, it's a wraparound service, but particularly in children's advocacy in our world, it matters to we're a place where families don't have to drive all over the place to get the services that they need. It is a one-stop shop for everything that happens at the advocacy center in Hill County. So the space that we have available, we can do those forensic interviews for investigations of allegations of child sexual abuse, physical abuse, witness to a crime, homicide, drug, it doesn't matter. We can do those interviews where children are involved in a very controlled environment where we have state-of-the-art equipment that is on board, ready to receive whatever cases come that are brought to us by law enforcement partners. In that same space, after we do the investigative piece, then families can receive counseling as well. And we're so proud that we're working with a partnership in Hill County, along with Judge Lewis's office, to reach some standards that we have to have in place with windows and doors and everything that makes everything happen. So
that's actually on the agenda.
That's on the agenda. Okay, that's on the agenda. So what that looks like is that now we're able to do counseling services for clients in Hill County. They don't have to come to Waco. There's no virtual piece. But they actually have a space that they can come, and we're going to be able to offer after hour counseling services for folks who are getting out of school, getting off of work. We still have that component available to them because we care just as much as you all care for the clients who are impacted by these crimes. So the bigger impact that we have in Hill County is that we don't have to go all over this. You don't have to go up to Johnson County. You come here. Okay. You don't have to go anywhere else to get those services because we are bringing those services to you in Hill County as partnership. And we're so proud of that. The other component I didn't mention and I need to mention now is that we meet monthly in Hill County on those cases from all the partners that work those cases, law enforcement, CPS, the district attorney's office, all those persons who are involved in investigation, mental health, medical professionals, forensic interviewers, family advocates. We have all of these services available to talk about these cases to make sure none of these cases fall through the cracks. And whenever the time comes, when these cases are prosecuted, we are there in court as witnesses to be a part of the process that needs to go through. So why don't y'all come out tomorrow between 3 and 6. Covington, wonderful annex space, grand, wonderful space. We cannot say thank you enough for what Hill County has done for us to put what we have in place.
That's a two-way street. We can't say thank you enough for bringing the services you bring to the citizens of Hill County and serving a population that has historically been very underserved here. So thank you. Thank you both for what you do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good deal, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate you being with us this morning again. Yeah.
How many sexual assaults per year of children in Hill County?
In Hill County?
Yes.
Okay, so I keep up with the stats for the services we offer on child abuse cases, whether it be sexual or physical abuse. So on average a month, we get some the case, well, let me do it this way, statewide intakes that come through the FPS system. We're somewhere averaging around 40 or 50 statewide reports. Of those that meet our criteria, we're operating with about 10 to 12 interviews a month in Hill County. Okay,
10 to 12.
that's just of children,
Yeah, just children.
just children.
And when you see the DA report, there's usually 2 or 3.
The indictment list, yeah.
Yes, yeah. So those are numbers that are pretty stable. We've seen the increase. When we first started in 2009, is when we first collaborated with Hill County. The numbers were not as substantial as they are now, but they are progressive. So we can attribute that to a couple of things. But the sad part about it is that it's happening. More is happening. But then there's also the part that more people are aware of services that we as an agency or as a team has to offer, and they're reporting it more. So that's why we're seeing the increase in
I think
numbers.
that's a large part of it.
Exactly. But if you see those numbers, it's just the tip of the iceberg. So it's estimated that for every one case that's reported, at least 10 go unreported. And that's everywhere. That's everywhere.
There's a lot of horrible people that hurt children out there, and I think my upbringing's no secret. I can't stand those people. Yeah. So we're gonna do everything we can to get services like this to the county, to those children, to any victim of crime. It's just important and incumbent upon us we do so. But good question. Thank you for bringing that.
Very good question. Yes. Thank you. Any more?
How does that compare with the lady upstairs that is?
Oh, Ms. Cole, so she operates in a function where she helps out when any of those people come in contact with the court. She then assists. So maybe a court everybody's made to law enforcement that get involved. There's some criteria too to get involved with the advocacy center. It's not like everybody can walk off the street. It's available to everybody, but there are criteria for good reason, and I'm not gonna go through all that. But when it comes to time for the court system, that's when Katie gets involved, going out, helping people, getting people lined up to get them in court, get the witnesses, get the families, make sure people are comfortable, explain the system to them. Basically, I don't want to diminish it, but it's a hand-holding job. It's one whereby she's familiar with the court system and she helps shepherd these people through can be very traumatic time already, but then most people don't come in contact with the courts on a regular basis, and it's scary. And then on top of that, she also can shepherd them through a lot of the paperwork if they're trying to go get assistance or financial assistance from the state as a victim of crime. She's been very helpful for that too. So I would say of those cases, any one of them you see on that grand jury indictments in the paper, every one of those she's touched.
So and she's on that team.
Yeah,
she's on that team.
Yeah. So they work hand in hand, just slightly different functions, but the same population, basically. Dr. Berkeley, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Director. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
You guys have a great day. See you guys tomorrow between 3 and 6.
You hear me? Love the beard.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You're looking nice. You're looking good too, sir. All right, moving along. Number 5 is a driver fuel policy. I don't know, you don't have a discussion about it today? I don't think we're in a place to take action, but we've got, as I said earlier, what am I doing this policy. And it's great. Rachel's been such a great help bringing things forward. But one of the things we're talking about doing is a driver fuel policy. Go ahead, Mandy, you have the floor.
Well, people to go through the polls records and found in 2010, we implemented our fuel policy with fueling.
Yes.
Which is historically we used, in history. So now we have Voyager with US Bank. I'm just seeking approval to modify our current one. Go ahead and just put in the Voyager, present it back to court and use our existing policy that's functioning now.
So since we have this already and we've not had a workshop to talk about it, I'm not opposed to moving forward on this today because the request is very simple. Just we're substituting names there. Same policy, but saying Voyager instead of Fuelman, or Voyager and Fuelman. Forgive me, it's both because you're right, we still have that. Your thoughts on that, guys?
Works for me.
Nobody has a problem with adding Voyager to it. Again, we're not making any substantive changes to the policy itself, this policy, the next one we talk about. So
I think if the policy didn't change,
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Make a motion.
Motion and a second to add Voyager, forgive me, what's the exact name on that one?
Driver fuel policy.
Voyager to the driver fuel policy. Any further? Nothing further? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions? Motion carries.
For next work session.
Yeah, that sounds great. Okay, great. Well, yeah. So moving on to number 6, then, this is one we do need to have workshop, and that's the credit card policy. Susan's very busy with another thing going on this morning. She couldn't be with us, but we've moved forward and we need to do some modifications to it. So go ahead. What you got?
So as you know, we historically use Wells Fargo for our credit card services. We only have 5 credit cards for the entire county. You guys voted that we could go out and get individual cards for each office that I'll hold. And we just need to set some guidelines for those. The current policy just isn't real clear what we can and can't purchase. And there are a couple of purchases historically in the past year that have been on there that should not have been, as far as entering into contractual agreements that the board has not seen and things like that. So I just want to make sure that we're abiding by the law. We're not circumventing any processes such as bidding or anything like that.
Exactly.
And just tidy up our language a little bit.
I think that's wonderful. And you made me aware previously of the issue with folks making purchases that I'm going to go from the standpoint, I don't think they understood that it was contractual in nature. Obviously, anything that's contractual has to come through this court as a matter of law. If it's $10 or $10,000 or $10 million, don't buy anything worth $10 million. So we'll have that kind of money. But that has to come through here. So we need to be careful. And I think the policy needs to state that in the policy. I know it sounds simple, but we need to put that in there as well. Do we have a draft copy we could circulate amongst everybody?
A couple of policies from neighboring counties. There are a couple things I like and dislike, a couple things I'm sure everybody has differing opinions on. I can circulate those via email to y'all. I can just BCC everybody to keep us compliant.
Okay.
And then y'all can respond individually with y'all's recommendations. The part that we struggle with is like last week, we had 0 credit cards to check out. They were all taken. This actually helps us because now we've got over 30 credit cards and each office has 2 for each office.
Okay.
The biggest thing is getting the receipts and having them coded. Getting the receipts.
Getting receipts and them coded.
With them coded, because a lot of people turn them in and they don't have their general budget numbers there. And then when the bills due, we just, pay it timely and then we get late fees.
Yeah.
And so we do need some language in there about turning them in. If you could further use the credit card, if you do not, are we going to take affidavits for lost receipts? Things like that.
And this is not going to make me the most popular guy in the room, but I'm going to say this quiet part out loud. What happens if somebody, what are the county's recourse? I take a credit card out, I go buy something and then I don't give you the number for it and we get a late fee. Well, am I responsible for that late fee because I failed to do my job? I think I should be. The county shouldn't be responsible for it. And then more importantly, if I purchase something with that credit card that I wasn't allowed to purchase their credit card, I believe I should be responsible for it. And the county and the taxpayer should not be on the hook for it.
And in a couple of these policies, it does say that we would draft your payroll check for those purchases that are ineligible.
I think that needs to be in there because you can't just have a dog that barks. It needs to bite occasionally and let everybody know that you're serious. And again, I think we've got a bunch of great employees, but it's just the what ifs. How do we do that? If that should present itself.
Sure. And reconciliation on 5 credit cards takes us about 10 hours every, once a month. So you can imagine what's going to be for 30 cards.
That's going to be insane. Is there a way to speed up that process?
Just if everyone turns in the receipts timely correctly. That's
So you
speed it
don't
up.
have to-
Make sure we have the agendas, make sure we have, everything that goes with it. That's the biggest problem.
Okay. Thoughts, guys?
Scotty can't buy whiskey anymore.
We call that maintainer juice. Getting everybody at home. That's a joke.
There's a lot to think about. It is a big policy that we need to draft. It does have a lot of good as well as a lot of bad.
Yeah, send that around.
Yeah, and I want to see them, and because I'd like to see your recommendations. Obviously, the administrative end, this is going to be somewhat sizable. With 10 cards or 5 cards taking us 10 hours, oh my goodness, what are we about to delve off into? And I know historically auditors had concerns as well about the administrative end of it. And how do we make sure that that burden doesn't fall completely on your office or her office, but it makes it where it goes to the office that possesses the card and they're responsible for it. I think that's the only way to make this sort of survivable at the end of the day is the,
So comments back to you.
yes.
And the copy of Rachel.
So if she sends out an email, BCCing everybody, that's fine. Do not reply to that email because that would possibly be a violation of quorum. Not saying it is, but it could be construed that way and I don't want that problem. So email your comments back to Treasurer Parker. You can, I don't want you to CC me on them. Just it's too big of a chance somebody makes a mistake and you know, but we need to have that communication. So, and I will go talk with, while we see each other daily. So it's not like they won't get back to me. So is that okay with you? Good deal. All right. Any other questions on credit card policy? Going once, going twice. We're going to move on to item number 7. It's number 7 is discussion and approve a resolution to finance 2 sheriffs' office vehicles. These are vehicles we have in our possession at this time. We need to make financing. We have reached out to government capital. I'm going to ask you guys for the authority for the county judge to sign a resolution regarding a contract for the purchase of financing and then to negotiate the financing terms. We're trying to get slightly better interest rate at the moment. And that's my request. Actually, that's my motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Moving along to number 8 is observe and record the annual salary of district court reporter, county auditor, county court log to county court reporter and assistant county auditors. As we know, the court reporters are set by the respective courts and the auditor's office salaries are set by the district judge. These are all in line with what we budgeted. This is just the paperwork that he has to put in, just like we did for our employees and signed off on the time change sheets. These are the actual physical documents that he has to do. So I make a motion to observe and record the aforementioned documents. Second, any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. All opposed, any abstentions, motion carries. Number 9 is discuss and approve renewal of Hill County Workers' Compensation Program with the Texas Association of Counties. This is kind of interesting. Texas Association of Counties Worker Comp data and loss runs, as well as information on how to use the data to improve our loss prevention efforts in Hill County. So we save about $4,000 a year participating in the Political Subdivision Workers' Compensation Alliance. So what we have right now is a resolution from the court that's being requested that allows us to participate in the 2025 Workers' Compensation Program. And you will see some other supporting documents there with it that is questions about, like frequently asked questions about our workers' comp renewal. And then there's a questionnaire they've sent us wanting to know information about, hey, this renewal includes your 23 actual payroll plus a 2% increase. You know, it tells you the dates, information needed, estimated payroll, things like that. You can go through it yourself. Now, there's one called Watercraft. I saw this last night going through it and it worried me for a second. Then, yeah, why would we need to know this? So well, it's okay. We do have Watercraft. I know Boston County Sheriff's Office got a boat. We're really thankful for that, but the article kind of made it sound like we've never been there. Sorry, we've been running the lake for years. It's been on us. Anyway, the boat is not over 26 foot in length, right? Oh, then we're fine. We don't have to worry about that for renewal. And I still don't understand how that plays into this. I just saw that and went, that could be a problem. It's not over 26 foot in length. So and we don't have any aircraft or pilots because the legal definition of aircraft does not include a drone. And so this is the thing you got to get used to. This was easy. Like, yeah, no, this applies to us. Now you got to think about it for a moment. So anyway, you can look through what our information is here and how we've answered some of this. Yes, no, or it does not apply. So anyway, that is the workers' comp renewal, and it is recommended that the 2025 Workers' Compensation Program be renewed with the Texas Association of Counties.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed. Any abstentions? Motion carries this the 24th day of September. Okay. Is it it's not the very last page. We're pretty close to it. I got acknowledged and acceptance member name Hill County. That was mine. See you later, Constable. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I got that one signed. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip these together and put that order on the front page. So I can just pass this thing around, let everybody sign it. Number 10 at this time is discuss and approve the communication system agreement between Hill County and Whitney ISD. This communication system agreement between Hill County and Whitney Independent School District is on the form previously approved by this court for the purposes of utilizing the Hill County radio's 800 megahertz trunk radio system. And it is recommended that the court approve said agreement.
Second.
Motion a second to approve the communication system agreement between Hill County, Texas and Whitney Independent School District. Is there any further questions? I don't have a question, just my commentary is I'm so glad to see these school districts getting on this. The more people use it, the more it defrays the cost for everybody. Then it makes it easier to maintain this system and improve it in the future. It's exceeded beyond our wildest dreams at this point, and I really appreciate everybody's support from your commissioners. Obviously, if it wouldn't have been for you guys allocating funds, the sheriff's office working with us, helping us kind of beta test this. It's never fun to be the beta tester. And then, of course, Chris, for all you do, I really appreciate it. All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the agreement. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions, motion carries.
Your district is not on that.
I'm sure there is, but I don't know it off the top of my head.
There's more not on it than there is on it, but they're trickling on quickly.
I think though, you take it from the standpoint of we have 12 school districts in Hill County. Roughly 12 school districts in Hill County, depending on how you count shared services. These have been historically the modern day one-room schoolhouse. Wonderful education for your kids, but they're small schools, six-man football kind of small schools, less than 100 kids in the high school, sometimes less than 50 kids in the high school. And historically, we've not had the problems that you see in other places. So we have a mindset that's slowly changing here about, are we immune from the rest of the world? And the answer is no, we are not. We are not immune from the problems of the rest of the world, unfortunately. We have been for years. We've been very lucky. And I think as, school districts are local control. As the board members come to a new place and understand the requirements from the state of Texas are now mandating things that they traditionally would not have seen as the most necessary thing to spend taxpayer funds on. They're more interested in getting kids educated, not, and historically we hadn't had that problem. So with that world changing as it is, I anticipate, like Chris said, you're going to see more people trickle onto this system. And we're going to be here with open arms. Even if you told us no the first time, that's fine. We'll still be here waiting on you to come back. We have to support the community, and part of that is supporting those school districts, making sure that we get good community members, and we only do that through education. So
We have four on, they're all doing this, the end of this year.
So, and there will be more.
And they've all been ones that have been invited, and they're just not coming to the table, so they're gonna keep going.
Who's on there now?
I'm sorry.
Who's on there now?
Whitney, I asked to buy them.
And I've heard, I don't want to put names because I put pressure on people. I've heard of several others that are having conversations that have reached out to me. I said, well, actually, you need to call Chris because he's a knowledgeable guy with this, but that there's a lot of interest. I think a lot of it they got a budget for it. So there'll be some entities that did not previously before this month have a budget to do it. They'll set their budgets. I think you're going to see some more come on.
And a lot of them, actually, all of them except for Whitney now have actually bought on the system, but they're equipped with grants.
Yeah.
They're not used in the tax dollars, it's all grant.
Oh, really? That's great. Okay. Good deal. Good question. Thank you.
Feels well, it's not like a picture.
Not yet, no. I'm sure because of the size too, that's going to be a sizable financial commitment for them.
We've talked directly with them twice.
But they come back, we're sitting here going, come on in. All right, good deal. Moving along then, we have discussed and approved an application for permits and release of liability and agreement to repair or reimburse Hill County for damage caused by excavation, construction, demolition, or boring of Hill County roadways and associated property with Grand Solar 10 LLC on Hill County Road 3161 and 3363. Kamish, what you got? So this is a permit the court adopted way back in 2008. And I'll be honest with you, we've had to do a little work to it. But you see the outline of this permit, application for permit and release of liability. They're releasing us. We're not releasing them. Just to make that clear to everybody. They're releasing us. They dig a trench across the middle of the road. Somebody falls in it. That's on them, not on us. So This is for any kind of excavation, construction, demolition, or boring of Hill County roadways and associated property. I know we call it the boring permit, but we want to be clear on that one. And it basically lists out the parties to the agreement. And we talk about our definitions. You know, they acknowledge that construction, demolition, excavation, boring, in other words, is a dangerous activity. And they further acknowledge that the activities involve certain risk of serious injury or death. If they cave a trench on somebody on county road, that's on them, not on us. So in number 7 is where they release us and hold us harmless. Number 8 is where the constructor indemnifies us. Number 9 talks about their indemnification duty. And 10 says, hey, once again, we're not liable to anybody. So you see the attorneys wrote this. Additionally, under 11, constructor shall provide all reasonable safety equipment. We're telling them, hey, not just you're releasing us, you're also going to follow certain rules. Number 12 is where they agree to repair any damage caused by their excavation, demolition, construction of a portion of a roadway or boring under the roadway. We leave that choice of boring or cutting the road up to the commissioner. I highly recommend make them bore, because a cut road never is right again. It's impossible. But again, there's certain times that might not be the best. And I don't know, maybe you cut a better deal than I can. Installation must be a minimum of 36 inches below the surface of the roadway or adjacent terrain. I had to put that there because we got some roads that.
Does this imply that they have the option to bore or cut?
They could, but it does not when you get into the specific language. So yes, you could do either, but the commissioner gets to say, is it bore or cut? This is not a permit that's going to allow you to do either or. It's one or the other. So the title of the permit is general, but really it comes down to, and the reason it's not straight out only boring, we know that there's going to be things that at some point is going to come along that's not going to work. You know, a 48-inch pipeline. That's not going to make sense. And at that time, they're going to have to talk about what damage remediation they're going to do for the county besides just repairing the road. You know, they're going to chip seal and do something else. I mean, just got to be understanding there's certain operations that aren't going to make any kind of sense whatsoever.
The drainage that goes with it.
My experience with open cuts, that the water companies, one does really good about filling.
Good.
2 do not. I will not let them do any more open cuts.
I think that's smart. I think that's
They
very
do
smart.
not take care of them.
We've had a lot of complaints about open cuts over the years. So anyway, going along, in the event, 15 talks about Hill County, new to constructor Hill County have any additional oral promises representation. This is the complete agreement. And then number 16, the undersigned states represents his legal capacity to execute this agreement, because we don't really know who these people are. So they have this concept of authority and apparent authority. They're saying they have the authority to sign it. So if we have to take action in a court at a later date, they can't just throw their hands up and go, oh, we didn't. No, you said you had authority. And then number 17, constructor, Grand Solar Tintex LLC, by signing below, state that they have and maintain a liability insurance in an amount of $1 million for which claims against constructor arising from work described in this agreement could be paid. That contemplates more of somebody doing some damage to their vehicle from one of these, or getting an accident. We have a different agreement. We have $100,000 of their money in escrow for the road use agreement for the actual road fixing, if they should do that.
Should we, and I don't know if this is the right place to put it, but should we not require that the county be named as an additional insured on their policy?
I think that we're going to need to do that. We've not done that in the past, but I agree. This is an old document, what we're getting forward. I would like to see us. I don't think there'd be any objection to that. Hey, Dave, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Sorry to bother you. I know you're not feeling good, but
That's
I
all
appreciate you.
I'm listening.
Hey, on number 17, okay, so let me back up. We're here obviously on number 11 on our agenda, the boring permits. Number 17 of that boring permit has constructors, including Grand Solar 10, by signing below state they maintain liability insurance in an amount of $1 million. Should we put in language in there that Hill County is to be listed as a party?
As an additional insured, like Jim said.
Yeah, additional insurance.
I'm never opposed to that.
Okay, cool. So we'll make that a motion. We can make that a motion. These can be retyped. So we can.
How long slow process?
No. But it's not a problem.
More the better.
So let's do the language in real quick. Hill County must be listed as an additional insured
And then that certificate. will have
On the
this.
insurance certificate.
on the instrument, on the insurance certificate. Got it. Certificate. And a copy of the certificate shall be on file with the county before construction begins. My memory's not so good, but I could just say this and remember it later. Okay. Is that okay? So basically the additional language we put in under section 17, which would be Hill County must be listed as an additional insured on the insurance certificate, and a copy of the certificate shall be on file with the county before construction begins.
Yes, sir. That sounds good to me.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes. Appreciate it. And we will amend all of these applications to reflect the same. So
To give y'all just a little bit of background on this particular permit application, they need to have the permit in hand before they can go to their financing company to try to secure financing for this project. I don't recall having had a company want to do this early in the process before, but that's what they say they need.
Okay. Yeah, they're putting together projects. It's like landmen. You know how shady they
Easy
can be.
now, easy now. I knew that was coming.
Yeah,
There's still a filing fee on these that we need to,
there is, and I don't know what it is. I think it used to be $25, but I'm,
I just want to make sure that.
and the filing fee was not to be, it was to try to cover administrative costs. Is $25 still going to cover the administrative costs? I mean, for right now, we can't change it because that's not an action item. We can change this.
I just want to make sure that.
Yes.
There was, that
25 bucks.
sometimes I was not charging.
Oh, no, you charge every time. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's Nicole's party fund or whatever you call it.
I think it needs to be changed to 200.
Yeah, 25 is probably not enough.
Yeah.
Really.
No, it probably isn't, but we need to, when I said policy, I got all these different policies we're going through. You know, we put a lot of policy in place in the past and we haven't seen these things again. These permits, GFS permits came out of the Barnett shelter like here years ago. And then that died off and we haven't seen it, but it was great to have them because they once or twice over the years, we've needed them for one-off projects. There's just a lot of policy we put into place. It's time to start updating it. And same thing with it, according to the cost to monitor and administer that. You know, we're not trying to make money off anybody. The reason for these policies is to know what's going on these county roads. Because if we don't do anything, they will literally just go out there and cut a trench across the road and then you guys get chewed out enough for things that aren't your fault. This doesn't need to happen. So just trying to, you know, try to protect the county roads at the end of the day. So, okay, well, which case then the action item before us requested is approve an application for permits and release of liability and agreement to repair or reimburse Hill County for damage caused by excavation, construction, demolition, or boring of Hill County roadways and associated property with the Grand Solar 10 LLC on Hill County Road 3361 and 3366 as amended. Motion and a second. Is there any further discussion, additions, deletions, or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions? The ayes have it, the noes know it. I didn't give that to you earlier. I need to give that to you back on this one. Seven. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so number 12, bless you. Discussion or approve a task order number 1, planning grant between Hill County and H2O Partners. So every 5 years, we have to redo our hazard mitigation plan. We pay for it, but it's pass-through money. We apply for a grant, we get the grant, we only pay if we get the grant. And the grant's coming through. We went out previously for RFP, unfortunately twice, to get responses. We got some responses the second time, they were good. We chose H2O Partners. So the first part of their process is applying for the grant. So that's their task order 1. And this is part of an agreement between agreed professional services agreement. So we've gone through the proper procurement process laid out under federal law and under state law. And it talks about on page 1, you know, the basic layout of our background and the pricing, and the fixed fee of $2,730 for this service. And that's the task number 1. So that's the first thing. There's a second thing. It's a different agenda item. We'll take it up in a second. But what we're asking right now is task order 1, and that's the planning grant.
Make a motion. Approve. Second.
Okay, motion and a second to approve the aforementioned task order number 1, planning grant between Hill County and H2O Partners. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions? Motion carries. This is something that I want to start doing more often. Most grants that we get, and we've got a lot, like just shy of $30 million since I've been here now, grant funds we brought in this county. And that's FEMA grants, that's every kind of ARPA grants, that's you name it, Siri grants. But we're having to do that in-house, and it's a huge load on our auditor's office, a huge load on our treasurer's office. And frankly, guys, it's a huge load on y'all, because not only you only got you and 4 to 5 to 6 guys to cover 300 miles of road, but now you got to do all the grant stuff, and it's maddening. I'm going out and doing a test on a different deal with a group called GrantWorks, not for the county, but for another entity, to see how this works for grant administration. Most all the grants, federal grants we get, have about 15% included in administration. I don't think that we're getting accomplished what we need to accomplish. It's costing us more than 15%. I'm just going to lay that out there. So as we move forward, you're going to see me recommend this a little more often, having a third-party grant administrator that we can audit them. But these are people that deal with grants day in, day out. They know the rules. The idea of us doing everything by ourselves is not necessary anymore because there's new entities out. And so there's just some efficiencies gained in doing this. Again, it's not money out of pocket. It's money out of grant that we would have been spending way more than that to administer them. So this is, I guess, really one of the first ones at the county level, but you're going to see more of this. Anyway, I call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Number 13 is discussion and approve professional service agreement between Hill County and H2O Partners. This is the second part of this process for the hazard mitigation grant. And it talks about the witness, you know, the client, which is us, and we got to develop a FEMA hazard mitigation plan as we're required to, the responsibilities and duties of the parties. Page 2 goes on and talks about responsibilities and duties. Page 2, section 2, scope of services. The scope of services for the completion of the application and the hazard mitigation action plan will be included in task orders to be signed by the parties. Task order 1 is the development of the application, and task order 2 is the development of HMAP. We'll be taking action on the task order 2 at a later date, once we have the first part done. It talks about number 3 on page 2, the terms and termination. Moving to page 3, the compensation and how that's going to work. And then the independent contractor, they are not a subdivision of us. They are not an employee. They're an independent contractor. Number 6 is the laws and ordinances. Obviously, they're just resuscitation that they're going to follow federal laws, state laws in regards to this. Page 5 is the rest of that. Page 5 at the bottom, page 4, forgive me, page 4 is the rest of that. And then page 4 at the bottom starts the section 7, which is debarment and suspension. As you guys know, going for grants, going for work with the feds. We have to make sure that we don't do business with people in any debarment or suspension list, somebody that is no longer allowed. We're just reciting that language. Number 8 is the indemnity. Again, they have to indemnify us for anything they do. So that's where you see this is. Number 9 is dispute resolution. If we have a dispute, we don't run to the courtroom. We both try to work it out first. 10 is modifications, like any contract that have to be made in writing. 11 is notices. I'll have to fill this out with a little more information on it. But for all the notices, both to the county and to H2O Partners get. Number 12 is the legal boilerplate, and the end of page 7 is the witness thereof. So that one, I need to put some information in. That is the professional services agreement between Hill County, Texas and H2O Partners for the hazard mitigation grant. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion shall carry unanimously. Number 14 is approved credit application for door control services. We got 2 problems here and one at the Covington Street, and I don't know that Covington Street actually is going to fall in this. I think it will. So the doors, when they were put back in the courthouse after the fire, it's 1990s, 96, 97, somewhere in there as best we can find. So we've got over a quarter century on these doors. Well, the actuators are antiques at this point. And we're having trouble with the south door closing properly. We adjusted, but there's no sweet spot. It's either closes too hard and beats things up or closes too soft and close all the way. We've done everything we can do it. We found a person that manufactures these things. They're going to come and look at our doors. The second project these same people are going to do while they're here is the west end of this courthouse. The handicap system is busted. The one where you hit the button, that system is an older system. It's an old air compressor, and I don't know if the line is broken in the wall. I don't know what's going on. Mr. Orban here has been so good as to tinker with it and got it working a little bit better. Then it kind of did its thing again. We want to bring in the professional. Thank you very much for doing that, by the way. We want to bring in the professionals now. And then the last but not least is the advocacy center. To meet the requirements for counseling, we have to put a window in one of their doors. People got to look what's going on. You got kids in the room. That just makes sense. Well, we thought we were going to switch 2 doors. No, we're not that lucky. The way the architects designed it, the door that we thought we were going to put there doesn't fit in that hole. So anyway, we're going to have to put a door kit in that door, basically put a window in that door to make that work. To do that, I need door people, and I don't have door people in Hill County that I can find. I got a bunch of great contractors, but I don't have door people that can fix this. So what I'm asking for is to approve a credit application, because of course they're going to charge me to come out of Dallas to even come down and look at this, but I need to get this deal done. So that's my request.
Make a motion approved.
We have a motion and a second to approve credit application with Door Control Services. Any further questions? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. Any abstentions? The motion carries unanimously. Pass that around. Number 15, fun stuff, Commissioners Court dates. Justin, why do we need this? Because the state Texas local government code says, in the last meeting of your fiscal year, which this is what it is, you shall set the dates and terms of court for the preceding year. So we have previously this month sat down with our treasurer who arranged this meeting, and I really appreciate that and done the late work. And then our auditor, we invited the tax assessor collector. She was unable to make it. And we went through our budget time, because as you guys know, some of the budget statutes say on a regular meeting, the commissioners court. And so what we've done is set out our meetings for this next year, what we're proposing. And when I say next year, fiscal year, so starting in October. If you look at this, the high points, it's the second and fourth Tuesday of October, second and fourth Tuesday of November, which loads us on the 26th. And Thanksgiving this year falls on, hold on, I didn't hit the button right there. I know I got a question about that. So Thanksgiving this year falls on the 27th and the 29th, 28th, 29th, forgive me, 28th, 29th. So we're having before Thanksgiving. So no problems there. When you go in December, you're going to see we're meeting 3 times. And the rationale for it is, it was going to fall on Christmas Eve, the 24th, the meeting. We thought that would be poorly attended at best, knowing how this works. So what we're proposing is we meet on the second Tuesday, which is the 10th, the third Tuesday, the 17th, and then we meet on the 31st. And the rationale is we have bills to pay. We can't go 3 weeks between meetings that time of year. We get it that people have got holiday things. We're just trying to be very cognizant of that and not create an extra. I don't want to ruin anybody's holiday plans. Christmas is one of the best times of the year for me. And it's a good time to spend with family and friends. So I want to make sure everybody has the same opportunities I get. So no court on the week of Christmas. We'll just meet 3 times. So second Tuesday, the third Tuesday, and the 5th Tuesday in December, if that's okay with everybody. Going back to the second and fourth Tuesday in January, the second and fourth Tuesday in February, the second and fourth Tuesday in March, second and fourth Tuesday in April, same thing for May, same thing for June. July. This next year, we're going to move the budget process up. We're going to start earlier. Due to the constraints we had this year, I did not like the way things had to be moved so quick. With the changes in state law regarding the 25 days on the time we file a proposed budget, the change in definition of proposed budget, and then the according statutes under 26 of the tax code and 153 of the local government code on how we set tax rates and how we pay elected officials. I want to back that up into July. So you're going to see that I've got the 8th of July, which is 2025, which is the second Tuesday. The 20, we're going to take off the 3rd, but then the 28th of July. Let me get back to July here. Hold on a second. 3rd. So we have the 22nd of July. So the 8th is the second Tuesday. The 22nd is going to be the 4th Tuesday. And then the 28th and 29th. The 28th and 29th is a Monday and Tuesday. I propose that we're probably going to hold budget hearings I propose that we will more than likely have a preliminary budget. It won't be the proposed budget. It'll be a preliminary budget. Well, it'll be preliminary. Well, proposed has legal connotations now. Once you file a proposed with the county clerk, you got 25 days to take action on it. The preliminary is to show people where we're at, expenditure wise. You have to remember that there's some timelines in the code. While they've always been great to us, the appraisal district doesn't have to get us the numbers for the certified roll until the 27th day of July by law. The tax assessor collector, while she's supposed to do that calculations for taxes as soon as possible thereafter, gets to August the 7th. So we're going to start budget hearings this year without anything more than just kind of a guess at our revenues. But we've got to start earlier to get more time to get input in from the elected officials. I didn't like how everything was so rushed this time. I don't like that. I think it needs more time for folks to pay attention. I'm not trying to drag out my own misery here. What you guys?
2025.
It should be 2025. Those dates are missed. Yeah, yes, 2025. Good catch. So that's what we're looking at there. Then through August. August 4th is a Monday. That's that meeting on a Monday. What was on the 5th? There was a reason we put that on a Monday, and I can't recall. There was something going on that day that I don't recall why we put that August date. Do you remember why we did that, Rachel? I think it did. That there was a timeline issue so that Christie has X number of days to get things to us. We have X number of days. So that Monday, it'll be the first Monday in August. We will meet then on the 12th, which is the second Monday in August. We will meet on the 19th, which is second Tuesday in August. 19th, the third Tuesday in August. We'll meet on the 26th, which is the fourth Tuesday in August. Then moving on to September, our next meeting would be September 9th, which would be the second Tuesday. I don't have us currently scheduled meeting on September 2nd because we anticipate getting the budget done on the 26th, but that's our thoughts. And then we go through the 3 meetings in September, the 9th, 23rd, and the 30th. That 30th being the last meeting of the year so that we can clean up any fiscal business.
On the 26th.
That's it, but we still have those last 3 weeks, every week, the last 3 weeks, September, if something goes awry, we still have those as regular meetings whereby we could do what we need to do. And I understand this is maddening, but it's necessary. That's all there is to it. So this is the proposed commissioner court dates for next fiscal year that we're required to set today. Motion a second to set the regular term to the Hill County Commissioners Court for fiscal year 25. The aforementioned dates are out there for everybody to see. None of this means we can't hold a special meeting if we had to. These are just the regular meeting dates after looking at all the, and we already developed the budget calendar for next year, by the way. So that was nice. All right, in which case I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. Coffee there. Number 16, discuss and approve a minor plat for Ivy Ranch Estates. Ivy Ranch Estates is a minor plat that's been through the Development Committee, Review Committee, and has been forwarded on this time. This is a FM 934 and 4434 project. It is the leftovers of a previous. It's a total of 8.93 acres. It's a single lot. And so in order to move along, they need to do a minor plat on it. If I remember correctly, this already has services. What was the services to it? So you can see where the existing culvert is already off the county road 4434. This fronts FM 934 up in precinct 1. And then I say that, is it you or him?
Yeah.
It's you.
Yeah, it's me.
Forgive me, I got this all backwards. I apologize.
No, it's
Yeah,
good.
you're gonna do this gracious of you. Give it to him. Thank you. Any concerns with this? Okay, good.
No, it's just- He should have used that in making the other lots a little bit bigger, because there's around 70 lots there. And I don't know why they made one to be a little undertended.
I don't either. This already has a water meter on it, so we're not worried about that. This lot already has a culvert in it. We're not worried about that. This lot already has access off the county road, not worried about that. Hillco says they'll serve them, and most importantly, they've paid all their taxes. So I see no reason not to approve this. We have a motion and a second to approve the minor plat for the Ivy Ranch Estates subdivision. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Yeah.
Aye. All opposed, any abstentions, the motion shall carry. This one, I guess, only requires my signature and your signature. Okay. I'm gonna hand this to you. You can put a signature on it when you get a chance. There you go, ma'am. And we will get this redone for you with the right dates on there. We'll just typo. So. Number 17, discuss and approve an interlocal agreement between Hill County and the city of Whitney for the repair of an ISD portion of Hill County Road 1240, aka Wildcat Road from FM 933 to the end of the Whitney ISD property. This 1240 is on 933, just north of the city Whitney. Actually, I think this is right at city limits. The Texas Transportation Code lays out if the city annexes a piece of property that abuts a road, whether they annex the road or not, the road's now their responsibility. So years ago when they annexed it, that first
2,578 feet.
2,578 feet became their responsibility. What are they looking to do here?
Well, they're looking to upgrade the road overall. That's the access road for the students to and from school.
That road's narrow.
And 1240 is really a mess from there all the way back into 1248, where it goes from Chip Seal to Gravel there at the corner. So the discussions that I've had with them are to come in. Larry and I've been working with them for a couple of 3 months, having conversations with them. And I put together some numbers and gave them some options. We were hoping to get this done earlier in the year where we had some access to materials and do some asphalt work. And
so are they going to be paying for all the materials and labor
they are
and you're just going to be doing the labor?
down to the ISD property. So that 2,578 feet, we would do the work, they would pay for that. And then we're going to try to coordinate the plan to continue the road and finish it all the way to the end of there.
Okay, so past Bethlehem Cemetery on up to is that the overlook you take?
They don't go that far.
They don't
No, they
go- Where the chip seal ends down there.
Where's the chip seal end?
It, whatever that road.
1248 going north
Okay.
towards Buckshot.
Buckshot, that's the word I'm looking for.
It
Okay.
stops there.
It stops there.
Right there. So that would be, and I think that's about a mile and a quarter.
Yeah.
So.
So what all does Whitney want to do? What all city of Whitney want to do?
Well, I gave a couple of options, and I think right now, because we're so late in the year, the best thing we can do is come in and shore up the shoulders of the road to widen it. Because the shoulders are broken off and chip seal, and that's kind of what narrows down the road.
Okay.
So putting cold mix in there doesn't make any sense right now, because if you come back and asphalt on top of it, it's not gonna hold up anyway.
Yeah.
So you can chip seal it all the way down, or you come in hot asphalt, the shoulders of the road, so it'll hold up when you come back next year and asphalt the whole thing.
So that 2,500 change, are they going to try to widen that some or just?
Well, that includes, if you shore up the shoulders, that'll widen.
Okay.
Because right now we're missing what? 2 feet on each side of the
Yeah.
road, probably.
Yeah, when that was redone, before I came in, I suggested to the school board at that time to saw back the concrete approaches and widen that road.
Yeah.
At that time, they said, no, they could not afford it.
That-
If they do not do it now, they have still wasted your money to widen that road the way it needs to be.
I really believe that the school district needs to come to the table and do that. And it turned out that wasn't the case. They could have afforded that at that time. God bless the school district, but that they had extra money left over from that bond. That's a city street. They're putting it on the city. I don't have any problem with the interlocal agreement or the project approval. I just wanted the details.
Yeah.
Transparency.
I talked to the superintendent, and he is on board with whatever, and I even threw the bait out that the ISD may want to throw a little money at the city to help them with that, and
I think
I don't know whether they're gonna do that or not.
I hope they do, because it's
It's
something we
on-
talked about a long time ago. So all parties come together, you can accomplish a lot more.
It's not gonna change. It's gonna get worse.
Yes, sir.
And if that road is not widened the way it should be, that you might possibly have a turning lane or oncoming
It
traffic. or
really
whatever.
needs a turning lane.
There's 1, 2, I don't remember, 3, 4 concrete approaches that need to be, or if they could solve the curbs off where you could blend in to the concrete they've got, but I don't know whether that can be done.
I think it's gonna require some more discussion with all parties involved to try to
Yeah.
make sure they don't just throw money down the drain again, you know, I'd say down the drain. The road was bad before, it's better than it was, and I appreciate what they've done, but you're right, until they get those approaches moved back on out of the right of way or back far enough, you can widen the
Yeah.
road, you just,
Where you can widen it, because, as narrow as the road is now, truck traffic, bus traffic, their edges won't stay.
Yeah.
And I'd like to thank Mr. Robinson for problem 2124, eliminating some truck traffic on
Thank you.
Eubanks Road. He has made it very clear to them to cease from that road, so hopefully it'll work.
yeah, that's okay.
So I put the options in there.
Okay.
Left that in their court. They were gonna be here. I'm not sure they got tied up or something
Okay.
that the city was, but.
Well, I guess the first thing is we need to approve the interlocal agreement between Hill County and the city of Whitney. Is there any questions regarding that? Anybody got a motion to make?
I'll make a motion.
Sorry. Motion and a second, motion by Holcomb, seconded by Hawkins, to approve a interlocal agreement between the Hill County, Texas, and the city of Whitney for the repair of 14 Hill County Road 1240. Let's take care of that. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstention, motion carries. Number 18 is discuss and approve the project work order attached to this. And the project work order has option 1, option 2, and 2025 permitted options on it. And these are the 3 options that we're looking at right now. And would there other options be available? This wouldn't be.
Yeah, I just told them that I wanted to try to get this approved so that, and they have this and they're looking at it. And I'm not sure what they want to do at this point. And I'm let that in their court and gave them some recommendations.
Do we want to approve the work order today or negotiate that a little
I
more?
think we ought to approve it. If we need to come back and amend it, we can.
I just don't want to give I guess my concern with doing that this way is that giving the impression of, hey, these are your options, take them or leave them. I want to make sure they know that, hey, no, we'd like to get everybody at the table, have a conversation about what we can do. You know, we want to help in every way we can, but we're limited in how we can expend funds. But if you've got the city, they're going to have limited amount of funds. The school district has limited amount of funds, but if we can get everybody at the table, I think we might get a better deal. For
It
everybody.
states it is only an estimate.
Correct.
It could blow out.
Well, I'm curious about that. Did this run through the county attorney? Okay,
He was in Secret Service training.
I got you. I would like him to look at it, because my concern is once we approve this, we set some things in stone. Not trying to slow you down, not trying to slow roll you. But I would like to put this contract approval offer today. We can pass this around and say, hey, this is our proposal, but bring it back. Because I think once we vote on this, we're setting in stone some things that we don't want to set in stone. It's going to make it more difficult for us to change things. That's my personal opinion, as legally speaking. So up to you guys, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, no, I'm good with that. We want to push it.
Yeah, and I'm going to push it down the road for a million years. I mean, just give it time for everybody to look over it and see if we can't get a meeting together with the parties and go, hey, this is a couple of options, but we've got another one we'd like to talk to you about, which is saw cutting those approaches, bringing them back and actually widen that road 4 foot, 5 foot, whatever it takes. And that's going to take a lot more money. It's going to take a lot more work on our part. But if we can do it the right way the first time, that would save everybody a lot of trouble.
Well, when they saw that, their response was, well, that's cheaper than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, then we definitely can get more out of it.
So.
Don't print that.
That's kind of what I thought.
Yeah, no, I think this is
we're good with that.
I think this is a great, okay, I think this is a great project, Commissioner. Thank you for working with the folks over there and trying to make things better for everybody in Hill County.
Well, there's been right there every step of the way.
And that's it. Nadia, I appreciate that too. Thank you.
Yeah, they had also been working with trying to get me on Bush Road.
And which one's Bush Road? I don't. Yeah.
It ties into Dog Pound Road.
I know where that's at.
2109.
No, I had to go there one time for a deal, so I know where that's at.
There's about a quarter of a mile that it's a city road. It is drastically needs repair and we used to periodically blade it when we maintained 2109, I think it is, not 2129. And but since we put all the recycled asphalt, we don't go over there anymore with the motor graders, so it's very bad.
I got you.
Yeah.
Press the school, come to the table.
Not done yet.
Superintendent seems like a great guy, so.
Slow, it's slow.
That's it. That's it. All right, number 19, discuss and approve financing options for the jail bi-directional amplifier. Jim, we had a conversation about this previously. In court, we voted to do this. This is making the radio system usable in the jail. I need your approval now for the county judge to negotiate a financing instrument. What we're trying to do is get the best possible rate. We have put some feelers out, and amazingly, government capital was not even close to being the cheapest. Yeah, it was interesting. But I think that the reason I'm asking not just to sign the document Dave negotiated, last week the Fed dropped it, what, 0.5%? We think we can get some updated, and that didn't happen until we were already ready to set our agenda today. I think we can get a better rate than we could last week. So what I'm asking is you guys to get the county authority, the county authority to negotiate and execute a financing instrument for the jail bi-directional amplifier for the 800 trunk megahertz radio system, which purchase was previously approved by this body at its last meeting. So write all that down later.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to stab me with that pen for that.
Why I have a report.
Yeah. All right. Anything I need to add to that, Chris?
That'll give you the ability to sign when you need to. We'll have to come back to the resolution.
Correct.
All that kind of projects.
Yes, sir. It'll be allowed to sign, negotiate and execute. If anybody's worried about that, we'll get the county attorneys okay before we do anything. So.
Yeah, that's our timeline hasn't started yet as far as that, 6 or 15 weeks, we haven't given them a PO yet.
Yeah, no, and of course it is based upon, hey, how can we get the best financing and working with the auditor and yourself. So we'll get that wrapped up hopefully this week. Okay, that moves us to number 19, which is discussion and approve posting a notice of road closure on Hill County Road 4352 South.
It's 20.
Yeah, that's just
Oh, it's 20. Forgive me. Well, I put my glasses on late there. I should have saw that.
that's just a road that the people have bought all the way around it and they want to close it. And so they had camels in there, they had a male camel that was worth.
What, they had camels?
Camels is what the guys told me. And he said the male camel's worth 10 grand, besides all the high dollar deer and stuff like that.
So did they sign any kind of petition or anything to do the road closure?
They signed a letter that I reviewed.
Yes, sir. Okay. And on top of that, is there anybody else that abuts that road anywhere? We've looked at CAD to make sure. Okay. All right. All right. Well, then is that a motion to post notice? Okay, so let's set the meeting date on this because we need to have that meeting date on that notice. So posting notice for road closure of Hill County Road, is it all of 4352 South?
Short road, it's probably.
Okay, so
It's under a quarter of a mile.
okay, and we're gonna close it in its entirety. Okay, so looking at the calendar right now, 24th, let's shoot for the 22nd of October. If we get that posted this week, that should be enough time to get that and get that. I think we have to post that in the newspaper too still. I think so. We'll figure it out.
David, get me the deals, I'll put them up.
Yeah, I got you. So anyway, right now, let's say we're gonna post that for action, a public hearing and action on the 22nd day of October 2024 at a regular meeting of the Hill County Commissioners Court. Okay, cool.
So how long does it have to run?
It's gotta be on site for X number of days, and I
At
don't.
least 20 days.
There you go. 20 days on site.
And I don't believe it does have to go in the newspaper. It's on the door of the courthouse and
Okay.
On each end of the road.
Good deal. I just couldn't remember. So thank you. Appreciate that. So yeah.
But I had to post mine.
I don't ever,
Maybe I didn't.
my take on it is, it's easier to pick up the code and reread the section every time instead of saying the wrong thing and sticking my foot in my mouth once again. Any further discussion? If not, I call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Mr. Crumpets.
Make a motion adjourned.
Second motion and a second. We stand adjourned. All right, so I've got this January